Welcome to Seeing Green Solutions for Our Daily Lives, the podcast where we spotlight the brands, ideas, and people making it easier to live sustainably every day. Today's episode is part of our Spotlight series, a deep dive into one of our Seeing Green Solutionists of the day. And now, today's solution.
Welcome, everyone, to a really special deep dive today. We're doing something a bit different. Instead of focusing on just one solutionist, we're actually celebrating a pretty big milestone.
That's right, 30 episodes.
30 episodes of the Seeing Green Spotlight series. It's quite something. 30 companies, all pioneers, all showing us how to live greener, better lives.
It's been amazing to see.
So our mission today, it's partly a celebration, definitely, but also, a look back. We want to analyze things a bit, spot the patterns, figure out the big trends that are really shaping sustainable business right now.
And share some personal highlights too, right? Our favorites.
Absolutely. We'll share our absolute favorite deep dives from the series. And honestly, the picture you get when you look at all 30 together, it's really, really optimistic.
It is, yeah.
So just before we jump in, a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this journey with us, exploring sustainable innovation, please do help us keep it going. Subscribe to the Seeing Green podcast. Follow us on social media. We're at Seeing Green Eco everywhere. And maybe join the community online at www.seeinggreen.eco. It really helps.
It makes a huge difference.
Okay, so 30 deep dives. Wow, we've covered everything from coconuts to camping gear, basically.
Pretty much. It's been inspiring, hasn't it?
Totally. When we kicked off the Spotlight series, what was the main idea behind it? What were we trying to show?
Well, the main goal was really about clarity and availability. We wanted to show you, the listener, that sustainable options aren't some far-off dream.
Right, not just concept.
Exactly. They're here, they work, they make life easier, healthier, greener right now. It was about proving that these solutions exist across, every part of daily life.
And we really did cover the spectrum, didn't we? We saw solutions popping up in 9 main categories. Shows that no market is untouched by this shift.
Yeah, 9 big ones. We had apparel, home, mobility, travel, food. Spirits, can't forget those.
Definitely not.
Pet care, beauty and personal care, and recommerce too. And seeing companies like, say, Avocado doing mattresses and home goods right next to rad power bikes in mobility, it just shows sustainability isn't some little niche anymore.
No, it's fundamental. It's like a redesign of how we buy everything.
Exactly.
A redesign. And the overall feeling, looking back, it has to be positive, right? Because when you dig into these 30 innovators, you see real tangible progress happening.
Consistently. Real impact.
So if you look across all 30, maybe the biggest thing they have in common isn't what they make, but how they make sure it's legit, how they build trust, which brings us nicely to the first major trend we spotted. Vertical integration and total supply chain control.
Yeah, this one's fascinating because that deep trust, which is so vital, to push back against greenwashing.
Absolutely vital.
It seems to require actual ownership, or at least really comprehensive control over the whole production process, start to finish.
It's the only way to be truly transparent, isn't it?
Seems like it.
You see it so clearly in the home sector, like Avocado. They achieve what they call farm-to-mattress control.
Right.
And having that control means they can guarantee those really strict certifications, GOTS and GOLS. Those are the big global standards for organic textiles and latex. And they can flat out ban nasty stuff like PFAS, those awful forever chemicals or chemical flame retardants. They just keep out of the supply chain entirely.
And you see the same logic in food. Take Harmless Harvest. They committed to regenerative, organic certified ROC for their coconuts, and they worked directly with, I think it was over 700 farmers through their recap project.
Wow, 700. That's direct involvement.
Totally. They're not just buying coconuts on the open market. They're involved with the whole farm ecosystem, hands-on.
And then in fashion,
make the label.
They have that same seed-to-skin idea, making sure they use organic materials, non-toxic dyes, actively avoiding things like endocrine disruptors or carcinogens.
Right, if you don't control the start.
You can't guarantee the end result. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay, so trend number 2. This is where things get really interesting, I think. The idea of waste as the new raw material, this whole shift towards upcycling and circularity. These companies see waste completely differently.
Not as a problem to get rid of.
Exactly. But as a premium resource. The future, maybe.
It's a total flip in the economics. Think about banana. They built their whole business around upcycling bananas and plantains that farms would normally reject, imperfect ones.
Stuff that would just rot otherwise.
Right. They turned that agricultural loss into snacks,
Yeah.
into innovative products.
And it's not just, basic stuff. We saw this in high-end luxury, too. Remember La Bouche Rouge?
Oh, yeah, the lipstick cases. Beautiful.
Right. Using upcycled leather scraps from French tanneries for those gorgeous refillable cases.
Yeah.
They made waste look incredibly luxurious.
They really did. Or think about shoes. Footwear is a notoriously dirty industry, right?
Huge impact.
And nothing new created this material beyond leather, using upcycled leather waste scraps for their shoe uppers. And doing that cut their water use and carbon footprint by something like 80% compared to traditional leather.
80%. That's massive.
It really is. It proves circularity isn't about compromising on quality. It can actually be an upgrade.
Yeah. Better for the planet, better product.
Okay, moving on. Our third trend tackles what's probably the biggest hurdle for sustainable living for most people.
The convenience factor.
Exactly. Radical reduction of consumer friction via technology. Basically, if choosing the ethical option is hard or expensive or just annoying.
People won't stick with it, let's be honest.
Right. So tech is stepping in to make the sustainable path, well, the path of least resistance, the easy path. Bainey calls itself a recommerce technology innovator. It's a browser extension, yeah.
Yeah, it just sits there in your browser. And when you're shopping for something new, it automatically shows you secondhand options right alongside.
Takes away all the searching friction, makes resale like the default choice almost.
Super clever.
And then you have ThredUp, obviously a giant in online resale. They basically invented that clean-out kit concept.
The resale as a service, or RAS.
Right, which makes selling your old clothes incredibly easy, not just for individuals, but for big brands too, like Gap and Madewell use it now.
You just fill the bag and send it off. No photos, no descriptions.
Removes all that hassle.
Yeah. And then on the mobility side, the Pebble Flow RV. That was wild. The Magic Pack automates the whole campsite setup.
The Magic Hitch, the auto dump for waste, takes away all those pain points that have existed for decades.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But the tech piece that really blew my mind was the battery. That V2H capability, vehicle to home. What even is that?
Okay, yeah, V2H, that's where the tech gets truly transformative. That RV battery pack is huge. It's something like 3.5 times the size of a standard Tesla Powerwall.
What?
So V2H means you can plug your RV into your house and use that massive battery to power your home if the grid goes down.
No way. Seriously.
Seriously. So it solves the kind of psychological barriers of RVing, the setup hassle, range anxiety maybe, but
Right.
also gives you this immediate practical value back home. Energy security.
That's game-changing.
Yeah.
Not just making RVing easier, it's making your home more resilient.
Exactly. Powerful stuff.
Okay, trend number 4. This feels like a big shift in mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Moving beyond just trying to be less bad
Mm-hmm.
and actually aiming for holistic climate accounting and net positive goals.
Mm-hmm.
Companies starting to measure absolutely everything and setting these really ambitious, quantified goals, trying to give back more than they take.
Yeah, this takes real commitment. And Two Drifters Distillery was just, wow, the gold standard here. They actually achieved carbon negative rum. And how they did it was by applying a self-imposed internal carbon tax on all their emissions.
Hang on, an internal tax. That sounds backwards. How does taxing yourself make you more efficient or profitable?
It's clever financial engineering, really. They literally charge themselves money for every bit of CO2 they release. So that makes avoiding carbon, redesigning a process, switching to renewables financially cheaper than just emitting and paying the internal tax, which then has to be offset anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so it forces them to innovate.
Exactly. It forces innovation that cuts costs and cuts emissions at the same time. It aligns the financial incentive with the environmental one.
That is brilliant. Just brilliant. We also saw Roughwear, the pet gear company, setting that super ambitious goal. Climate neutral by 2027. Climate positive by 2030. That's way beyond what most companies are doing.
Way beyond serious leadership.
And of course, Avocado again. They were pioneers here too. First mattress brand in the world to get climate neutral certified way back in 2019, offsetting 100% of their emissions, cradle to consumer.
That commitment to measuring everything, tackling complex problems, it immediately brings up a big question, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, when the problems are this huge climate change, can any single company actually solve them alone?
Right. Probably not.
Exactly. Which leads us to our fifth and final trend, collaboration for systemic change.
Competitors working together.
Yeah. Recognizing that these massive industry-wide issues, like, say, plastic packaging waste or recycling batteries, You can only really tackle them if competitors actually collaborate, pool resources, standardize things.
For example.
Look at Credo Beauty. They co-founded Pact. It's this collective, has like 150 members now, including huge players like Ulta, L'Oreal.
Wow, competitors working together.
Right. Specifically to deal with the 120 billion units of beauty packaging waste created each year, most of which is hard to recycle. And Pact has already diverted over 500,000 pounds of that waste since 2022. That only happens through collaboration.
That's incredible scale. And we saw Knee Mobility too, right, with Rad Power Bikes.
Mm-hmm. They partnered with Redwood Materials to create a proper battery recycling program for their Safe Shield batteries. The goal is to recover up to 95% of the critical metals, like lithium, cobalt. That builds infrastructure that helps the whole e-bike industry, not just Rad Power.
Creates a circular system for everyone.
And even in high-end hospitality, Six Senses hotels, they're adopting industry-wide standards and partnerships, things like the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action in tourism, or using the Too Good To Go app to reduce food waste. They know scale comes from working together.
Okay, so 5 big trends shaping the future. Vertical integration, waste as a resource, tech reducing friction, holistic accounting, and collaboration.
Quite a list when you put it together.
It really is. So after digging through all that, dissecting the patterns, which companies really stood out, which ones exemplify these shifts the best, choosing just 3 was really tough. Okay, I'll go first. My top 3 deep decks from the first 30.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, my number 3 pick is Barnana.
Ah, the banana guys.
The banana guys, yeah, I know we just mentioned them, but what really struck me wasn't just that they upcycled waste. It was the profound economic impact.
Yeah.
They pay farmers up to 30% more than market price for that reject fruit. That creates steady income, helps communities build actual wealth. The memorable moment for me was just that simple realization. For Barnana, sustainability is the business model. It's not some extra cost or department. It's the core thing.
That's such a critical point, linking environmental health directly to community prosperity. It shows sustainability isn't just about saving resources. It's about, optimizing how money flows, too.
Yeah.
Building resilience.
Exactly. Okay, my number 2 pick, Pebble Flow RV.
Ah, the high-tech RV. Good choice.
Yeah, the mix of just radical technology and stripping away all that friction was amazing. But the memorable moment, again, is that V2H capability.
The vehicle-to-home power.
Yeah. When you grasp that the battery in that RV is 3.5 times bigger than a Powerwall, you see they're not just selling a way to travel, they're selling serious practical energy security for your home. That's huge.
I love that pick. I mean, I've personally spent way too many frustrating weekends wrestling with an RV hitch in the pouring rain. Oh, yeah. So seeing a company actually solve those decades-old headaches with tech, the Magic Pack, the auto hitching, it's just a perfect example of trend 3, right? Removing those psychological barriers, making it easy.
Totally. Okay, drumroll. My number 1 pick. It has to be Two Drifters Distillery.
The carbon negative rum. Knew that might be up there.
Yeah. For me, it was their fundamental rethinking of the financial structure, that self-imposed internal carbon tax. It's just genius. And the truly memorable moment was learning about their partnership to take the CO2 they capture and permanently turn it into stone. Mineralization.
Right, locking it away.
Exactly. That's not just offsetting. That's permanent carbon removal and avoidance baked into the business.
Yeah.
It sets such a high bar, not just for spirits, but for, the whole global economy.
A really, really strong number 1 pick. They took something complex, carbon accounting, and turned it into a practical, profitable business strategy. Very cool. Okay, my turn.
All right, let's hear your top 3.
Okay, my number 3 is nothing new, the sneaker company.
Ah, the Beyond Leather folks.
Exactly. That deep dive really brought home the kind of overlooked impact of footwear. Shoes are responsible for about 2% of global greenhouse gas emissions. That's huge.
2%, yeah, that number definitely stuck with me too.
And the memorable moment for me was learning about their True Stitch construction method, how they basically eliminate chemical-heavy glues. It makes the shoe stronger, more flexible, but also way cleaner, less toxic. It's like the small manufacturing detail that has a massive impact on the final product's integrity and environmental footprint.
Right, getting rid of all that glue. Better product, less junk. Makes sense.
Okay, my number 2 pick is Credo Beauty.
The clean beauty retailer. Interesting choice.
Yeah, this one stood out because it showed the immense power a retailer can have, setting standards that force an entire industry, especially one like beauty that can be pretty opaque to clean up its act.
Right, they set the bar high for the brands they carry.
Exactly. And the memorable moment was their work co-founding Pact, the packaging collective we talked about. Specifically, how that collaboration led to creating a new matter resin, which they used to make a truly recyclable lotion pump. Traditional pumps are basically impossible to recycle because they mix metal springs with plastic.
Oh, yeah, these are terrible.
Right. So Pact actually solved that systemic problem by creating a new material for a recyclable version. That's collaboration driving real innovation.
Turning waste into a functional component that fixes a recycling nightmare? That's impressive, forcing the industry to solve its own problems.
Precisely. Okay. And my number one pick, Harmless Harvest.
Ah, the coconut water. Another great one.
Yeah. They stood out for me because they so clearly demonstrated that doing right by the planet has to start with doing right by the people involved, especially the people at the beginning of the supply chain.
The human element.
The human element, absolutely. And the most memorable moment, the thing that really floored me, was learning about their Fair for Life fund, how it provides free healthcare and eye exams to over 770 farmers and their families in Thailand. And for 80% of those people, it was the first time they'd ever had access to medical care.
Wow, 80%. That's staggering.
Isn't it? It just shows that true sustainability, deep sustainability, it starts way outside the factory gates. It starts with meeting basic human needs and ensuring fairness. That, for me, was the most powerful lesson.
That harmless harvest statistic is incredible.
Sure.
It really puts things in perspective. Okay, wow. 6 amazing companies, 6 powerful stories.
So when you step back and look at all 30 of these deep dives, what's the big picture? What does it all tell us?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
I think it shows that sustainability, it's not a niche anymore. It's not just an optional, nice-to-have add-on. It's actually being embedded right into the core of business. It's driving innovation. It's improving quality. And crucially, it's boosting profitability.
Right.
Yeah.
Across every single sector we looked at.
Yeah.
From spirits to sneakers to dog toys.
Exactly. It's becoming the new baseline for how successful businesses operate.
Well said. And on that note, we really have to thank the 30 incredible solutionists we featured. They provided so much inspiration.
Truly.
And of course, thank you, our amazing audience, for coming along on this journey with us through the first 30 spotlights.
Okay.
Your support and engagement mean the world. We really are incredibly optimistic about the power of informed consumer choice and just the future that these innovators are building right now.
Absolutely. And maybe just one final provocative thought for you to chew on.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
When you see how successful companies like Avocado or Harmless Harvest are, companies that build in deep transparency and control over their supply chains, how can we as consumers start demanding more visibility into the human element? Things like, guaranteed fair labor, living wages. How can we demand that visibility behind all the certified products we buy, even when the certificate itself might only focus on, say, organic materials or carbon offsets? How do we push for transparency on the human side, too?
That is a fantastic question. How do we ensure the fairness part gets as much attention as the green part? Something definitely worth mulling over.
Food for thought.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this special milestone deep dive. Celebrating 30 spotlights, we really, really appreciate your support.
Thanks, everyone.
And just one last reminder, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the Seeing Green podcast, follow us across social media at Seeing Green Eco, and join the community over at www.seeinggreen.eco.